Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews, you can find band interviews, and as well as you can find us on our live episodes, which we record every Wednesday night at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, be awesome to see you there. Come check us out. It's a little bit different than these album reviews. It's me and three of my other good friends, and just talk about music news, new albums coming out, stuff like that. It's a good time, and it's just fun with friends. So, if you enjoy music as much as we do, and you like talking about it, come hang out in the chat with us. We'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts about, music news. So if you enjoy that, make sure you subscribe and make sure you thumbs up the video because it helps out our channel a lot. And make sure to follow our social media, which is like up there somewhere. We have a Facebook and a Twitter, so come follow us for the latest news and updates and stuff. But anyway, getting away from myself, tonight we're gonna be talking about Crown the Empire's new record, Retrograde, which comes out this Friday, July 22nd. Um, when I heard the news about this new record, I was super excited. Being a Crown fan for quite some time now, and I've actually been a fan since the Limitless EP days before they were signed, and now they're on Rise, and they're just a huge band, and I'm super proud of these guys. They always put out an awesome record, so super stoked to see that they're putting out another record. This is their third studio record and their fourth record as a whole. Again, I've really enjoyed what they've done, and I was excited that kind of the Fallout series is over. I did enjoy it a lot, not knocking it in any way. And if you haven't checked out Crown, I highly recommend you check out their older stuff. Um, they just kill it. But I was super excited for them to kind of move on from that and pick up something new. And so I was excited for Retrograde. So this album features 11 tracks, two of which being kind of like interlude tracks. So basically 9 tracks of full music. But I was, again, super stoked on this record. So let's kick it in. So the first track, SK68, opens with this kind of like theatrical sort of opening with piano, a little bit of piano, and it's got Andy Leo's kind of like I guess like atmospheric sort of vocals to it, and it just makes you want to pull in and get ready for this awesome record. Um, it just really wants to drag you in and be like, hey, you want to listen to this more, and it's kind of got this like Fifth Dimension sort of vibe to it. Um, I don't even know if that's the right movie or not, but it's got this kind of like space sort of time sort of thing. So I was super excited, upon first listen, and yeah, I just feel like it's a great opener to the album and kind of advocates what the rest of the album's gonna sound like, as well as it's kind of plays into, if you've seen the music videos for the singles, it kind of brings everything into perspective. So awesome opener track, and I feel like it kind of shines a light on the rest of the record, and what you're gonna be looking forward to. So the second track, Are You Coming With Me? Awesome track. The instrumentals are awesome. They kind of start off slow, and it reminds me of sort of like a hard rock sort of sound to their thing. I don't think there's any screaming on this track, but I do like the balance between Andy and Dave's vocals. Dave does do screams, but I do like his cleans actually better, ironically enough. But I love when they switch off vocals, and they do plenty of that in this track. And I feel like just their vocals, each vocalist, their voice shines on this track, and this one's just an awesome track. It's one of my favorite tracks off the record. Again, it's got this nice hard rock feel. It's got this like, it just makes you wanna. It's got this like happy sort of like pumped up feeling, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put this on a set list, in the up and coming future. So, it just really gets everybody, at least me, it got me excited, just to get into the rest of the record and stuff like that. We'll move on to track number 3, which is Zero. Is actually one of the singles. In fact, it was the first single that they released off this new record, and I really love this track. It was kind of love from first sight. definitely enjoyed this track. The only gripe that I have about this track is that when the chorus kicks in, he literally just says zero, and I feel as though that's kind of like a cop out in a sense. I feel like they could have came up with some more creative lyrics. Um, but again, the instrumentals really hold this track down, and it's actually one of my favorites off the record. Just for that reason alone, it really has that like kind of like Crown the Empire sound that you know and love, but then it's also got some heavy aspects to it as well that you also know from Crown. So it's got a nice mix of that. And, you know, Dave does his screams, obviously, and Andy does an awesome job with the cleans. And I think Dave also does some cleans on this song as well. Um, but it's probably one of my favorites out of the singles and definitely one of my favorites off the record. So we'll move on to track number 4, which is called Aftermath. It starts off really slow with like a lot of bass. You know, Hayden's holding it down on the bass. It's awesome, along with Brent on the drums. It just kind of adds this sort of like heaviness to it without being really heavy. Again, it starts off not real slow, but it starts off slower and then it kind of builds. And then once you get around like the 2 minute mark ish, it just hits you like a full on truck because Dave's screams just like plow through everything. And just when that breakdown hits, it's amazing. Again, one of my favorites off this record for sure. Um, it's also one of the, I wouldn't say it's one of the heavier tracks, but it's definitely got, again, a hard rock sort of feel with like a metalcore sort of breakdown. Um, Again, I like the passing off of the different vocals between Dave and Andy. I really enjoyed that. I've always endeared that about this band, that they are able to do that. Um, and do it well. They execute it very well, and they also execute it very well live. So if you have not seen them live, I highly recommend that you check them out. Like I said, they'll be on Warped for the rest of the summer, so you have really no excuse to go check out their sets. So go give them a listen. We'll move on to track number 5, which is Hologram. This was actually the second single that they released off this record, and I'll be quite honest with you, I wasn't a huge fan of it because it's kind of a little bit slower and like not. I mean, it does have aggressive parts to it, but for some reason it just didn't really click with me. And then after listening to the album as a whole, it's slowly becoming a grower on me, and I really enjoy this track a lot. I You can probably ask me in a week, and it'll probably be one of my favorites off the record for sure. But I feel like at this point, it's kind of just a grower. It's an awesome track. Um, do I think it's better than Zero? I probably put Zero higher, but Hologram's a close second. But yeah, awesome track. I'll make sure to link the ones that are up, being Zero, Hologram, and Weight of the World. Those were the singles. So awesome tracks. Make sure to give them a listen and make sure to see if you can pick up Retrograde when it comes out Friday. Track number 6, The Fear is Real. Like I said, this is kind of more of like an interlude sort of thing. Again, it's got a real theatrical feel to it. It's got some like spoken word from, I guess, like a movie or something like that. But it's really got this kind of like theatrical sort of like um feel that you would get from like a space sort of like thriller sort of movie. So really awesome job. I really wouldn't be surprised if this was like in a movie trailer or something, that just on that sort of caliber. um just a great intro track, and or interlude. And it will lead us into track number 7, which is Lucky Us. This being probably the heaviest track off the record without a doubt. um Dave's vocals are so brutal in this track, and I just like how it starts off kind of like, I guess like it's like a slow build at the beginning, and it's just got, you know, Andy's like vocals being all like, I don't even know, it's kind of like theatrical almost at the beginning, and then they just break through like once that guitar comes in. You know, Brandon just did an awesome job, you know, on the guitar parts on this, and just adds for this nice build up to it. So super excited for this one. Probably the best track off the record in my opinion. It's just really heavy, really brutal, um, and just, you know, a track that I could definitely see being on a future set list. Track number 8, Weight of the World, was their third single and probably their most recent single. I wasn't really a huge fan of it. Um, However, it's not bad. I could definitely see that song being like played on like XM radio or something like that, as well as the next track. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, Weight of the World, I wasn't too excited about it. I feel like this one will be a grower. Probably not as much as Hologram. I definitely Hologram a little bit more than Weight of the World. So I'll have to get back to you on how I feel about this track. But definitely another solid track from these guys. And we'll move on to track number 9 with the Signs of Life. This one's actually a kind of like a softer track. If in fact, I probably could hear this on Main Street. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard this on mainstream radio. It just has this sort of acoustic, sort of like clean vibe to it, and again, I like the swaps between not Brandon, the swaps between Andy and Dave, the two vocalists. This primarily has all cleans. Actually, it actually has all cleans, and super excited about this one. It's actually one of my favorites. Despite it not being heavy, it's one of my favorites because I love the harmonization between Andy and Dave. They just do an awesome job, and I think they've been one of the best, or are one of the best out there with two vocalists. Dave just does an awesome job with the kind of like lower sort of clean parts, and then Andy's got a higher register, and he does an awesome job with the harmonization. I just feel like this track is definitely one of my favorites, despite it being kind of soft. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Track number 10, Oxygen. I did enjoy this track as well, despite it not being one of my favorite tracks. I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad. It's kind of got this atmospheric sort of feel to it, and Andy's voice does an awesome job, and Dave does an awesome job kind of backing him up in this track. I like to play, again, between the two vocalists. Awesome job. And if I haven't mentioned it before, all the instrumentals in these tracks are really awesome. They did lose out on Ben Suede. He did leave before this record. So I think Dave did. I don't know. Somebody can quote me on that, but Dave did, I guess, some of the guitar parts, or Brandon did most of the guitar parts in the studio. But awesome instrumental jobs from all the guys. Brandon and Hayden. They did an awesome job on this record, and the last track, being Kaleidoscope, is a great way to end the record. It's got kind of like this hard rock vibe. Again, I don't think it has any screaming in it as well. But again, I don't feel like it needs screaming. It's just got this awesome kind of beat to it, and it kind of rounds out the rest of the album, and it kind of gives some closure to the rest of the album. And again, I like the harmonization between the two vocalists, as well as just the instrumentals. This one being one of my favorites as well on this record. But yeah, this one was a super solid record from these guys. I didn't expect anything less from them. Again, they do just such an awesome job. So, some of the pros that I thought about this record was just that they kind of experimented a little bit more. I know they took out some of the theatrics of, like, the Fallout, and obviously, that sort of series was a little bit of a different beast, and this one they're kind of transitioning. So, I was excited to see this new material. I also like the kind of space time elements that they added into these records. Kind of just ties everything together, as well as in the intro and the interlude. I feel like that kind of just ties all of the tracks together in sort of this, musical, like, cinematic feel to it. So, did an awesome job with that. So whoever came up with that, how to arrange the tracks, did an awesome job. And just some solid writings from these guys. Again, I like the dual vocalist sort of thing where they're playing off each other, and when they're harmonizing with each other. I just feel like that adds a whole nother layer and dimension to the whole album as a whole. So I feel like that's an awesome strength. But the one con that I can say, again, it's about the Zero track. I being that I like the instrumental parts of the track, I really don't take the lyrics into consideration. But lyrically, that track struggled, as well as I don't feel like any other track really struggled as much as Zero. I feel like Zero was just lyrically one of their low points in this album. But I really don't have any cons. I like that they experimented on this record as opposed to, sticking with another Fallout sort of esque record. I like that they, again, did a lot of experimenting. And I guess one gripe somebody could come up with is like that it's not heavy enough. But I really think it's heavy enough, as well as it does have some heavy elements. Like I said, Lucky Us is a really heavy track, as well as Aftermath, like after like the first chorus gets kind of heavy. Zero is pretty heavy. Kaleidoscope's pretty heavy too. Just I feel like it's a little bit more well rounded and they're a little bit more seasoned, being that this is their third studio record. Um, they know what works and what doesn't, and it really did show on this record that, they have matured, they have kind of aged in, what they do and stuff. So it's cool to see progression, and I'm excited to see what they do next. Um, like I said, they're on Warp Tour for the rest of the summer, so if you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend this band. But I guess you guys came here for the rating, so you know I'm gonna give you a rating. I think this album deserves a 8.7 out of 10. Like, it's definitely an awesome record. I feel like if I give it a bit more spins, it might be a contender. It will definitely be a contender for album of the year. It's just something that you can spin and just have, a good time listening to it. They're all these tracks are really awesome. I feel like there isn't really a low point in, this album. There are some, spots where I feel like, oh, well, I could skip over that track. Like, Signs of Life every once in a while, I feel like I could skip over, even though I really enjoyed it, as well as Oxygen. But again, they just had this nice heaviness. They had some softer tracks. They had some nice instrumental interludes to kind of like add some atmosphere to the rest of the album. So, if you haven't checked it out, or if you haven't checked the singles out, I highly recommend you checking them out. And yeah, so if you like what I did, make sure you subscribe and make sure you thumbs up this video. It really does help out our channel a lot. And I'd like to know your thoughts about the new Crown the Empire record. Do you think it holds up to, what they did with the Fallout sort of stuff, or, the Limitless EP? Do you think that, was it, did it really meet your expectations? Do you think it was heavy enough? I'd really like to know. So make sure you let me know in the comment section below. And like I said, if you subscribe, that would be awesome. It'd be amazing, actually. And we appreciate all of the new subscribers, as well as, old subscribers as well. So, I'm thinking about running a giveaway at around 100 subscribers. So, make sure you subscribe and say what's up to us on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'd be rad to see you guys there. And yeah, this is Brandon from Audio Addiction, and I'm signing out. See you later, guys.